lightening my own hair today, basically because I've run out of money. This current hair that I have now has cost me $400 to get to this level, and it's still not very light. I think my natural hair color, if you can see it, and the roots is like a 6 or a 7. It's like dirty, murky dishwater gray, questionable mud puddle gray, old dryer lint gray, brown. So the color we're using today is super classy and expensive $7 Revlon Frost and Glow. You can see they didn't even bother to use a real person on the box. It is literally a Sims character that they just slapped on the box and put streaks in her hair. So there's a lot of confidence going into this as I do this. Also, as far as supplies go, I'm going to be using the little mixing bowl that came in the box, and since I don't have a nice brush from Sally's, I am using this paintbrush that, yes, I used on a canvas with acrylic paint. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, probably. It's gonna be fine. I also don't have super fancy salon gloves. I'm using just some gloves that I had around the house that I used for painting canvas with acrylic, so you don't get acrylic like on your nail polish or your jewelry or anything like that. I'm going to change out of this, and then I'm gonna voice it over so I don't have to like try to talk while I'm doing it, so I can go like full concentration mode and see how this turns out.
I'm starting off putting on some gloves and then just mixing up the contents of the box. If we were actually mixing up our own powder, bleach, and developer, I would show that more in depth for measuring, but this box is just kind of pre-measured. You just dump both the packet and the cream developer in, and then you just mix that all up. And then you can see I've already sectioned my hair just using a little clip. Any clip or a scrunchie will do, anything you have to tie your hair out of the way. I'm starting on the bottom, and then I will work my way up. I did initially start wanting to use foils, but that quickly went south. I couldn't get them to stay in my hair very well. They just weren't cooperating with me. I'm obviously not a professional, so I don't really know what I'm doing, and I wasn't able to get them to stay. It actually turned out to be a good thing because my hair developed a little faster than I was expecting, so I'm actually glad I did not go with the foils, but I did try that to start, and it just didn't work very well, so I just took them out and kind of just let them lay next to each other as I put the lightener on my hair. My strategy for this kind of centered around what I had seen done to my hair. However, I made it a little bit simpler. I didn't weave out the hair. They kind of did like a zigzag thing where they like took their comb and sectioned out pieces for more of a balayage look. I just grabbed whole sections, so it kind of turned out as more of an ombre than a balayage, which is actually kind of what I was looking for because I just really wanted those ends to be lightened, and I feel like the process that I was going through in the salon was just taking too much time because they weren't lightening all of my hair each time. They were just probably lightening maybe like 40% of it by divvying out the sections. So I think that this kind of was a better strategy for me to get more hair all at once. Also, my focus is mostly on my ends for this. I wasn't really looking to reach my roots with anything. I'm hoping in the long run to kind of change something up with my roots, but in the meantime I was just hoping to kind of do mid-shaft to ends, lighten that up a little bit. So I didn't bring any of the lightener up past about mid-shaft. I mean, maybe some accidentally did. We'll get to that in a second, but I was mainly focused on just lightening the ends. Once I had the section divided out, the strategy I took was kind of what I had seen them do at the salon, which is backcomb it a little bit, and that way when you apply the lightener, if you happen to apply it kind of in a line pattern, or if you get it too close to each other, once you rinse it out, it kind of falls back into this nice ombre. You don't see any harsh lines or anything like that. As I worked around my head, some sections got a little bit messy at the roots. I may have teased a little bit too low, but the fact that I was working on my ends, I didn't really worry too much about it because I knew I wasn't intentionally applying any lightener up in those roots areas. Once I had my section teased, I would come back in with my paintbrush and my lightener and start with a very ungraceful V pattern that I worked into my hair. Sometimes I would put the brush down and kind of work it in with my gloved fingers, just kind of working to blend that in and smooth it out so I didn't have any globs on my hair. And then from there, I just painted a bunch on my ends, made sure my ends were saturated since that was what I was trying to lighten the most, was the very ends of my hair. Painted a little bit on the back as well, and then just worked to kind of smooth it out. You can definitely see some mistakes happening, but in the end it actually blended pretty well. If I were to change anything about this, I think it would be to pre-section every section that I was planning on letting down, rather than having one big clip holding it all and then trying to section it out myself. I didn't have a comb that could section that hair out, so I literally had to resection my hair with my lightener covered fingers, and you can see that I got a little bit higher up than I intended. I do know that the lightener will stop developing once it's dry, so for the sections that I was worried about too high that I got a little bit on, I just wiped it off with a towel so it would stop developing. Once I had worked all the way around my head, I just did some fine tuning and some extra blending, making sure I didn't miss any spots. And then I just let it sit for about 20 to 25 minutes. I didn't cover it with anything and I didn't put any heat on it. That might vary with your own hair type. If you know you need some intense lightening, you might want to consider actually using the foils or applying some heat to it. While that's processing, we can take a look at everything we've used so far. The lightening kit was $6.98. And while I did have a whole box of gloves in my pantry, the cost breakdown actually comes out to about 8 cents per glove, or 16 cents for this whole process. The paintbrush I used was 98 cents. The foils, even though I didn't use them, I did prepare them as if I did, and you might want to use it if you try this at home. So a box of Reynolds Wrap was $3.48, and I prepared about 8 feet of it, so that comes out to about 37 cents for the foils we have prepared. This next step is completely optional, but I did tone my hair after a few days. It came out really warm and a little orangey, and I hadn't decided if I wanted to work with that or if I wanted to tone it, so I took a few days to decide, and then I did buy some toner. The Wella toner that I bought was $6.69, and the 10 volume developer was $1.99. So if you're just looking to lighten your hair and you want to keep those golden warm tones without toning your hair, your grand total is $8.49. And if you're really enjoying those ashy or cooler tone blonde colors, you will want to tone it, and that brings your total up to $17.17.
So this is the final look with the $7 lightener and the $7 toner. I really like how it came out for doing it by myself. I know I did have a moment of panic, sheer panic in the middle of that, where I just kind of felt like I was covered in bleach and didn't know what to do with myself. But thankfully it was pretty forgiving and was able to kind of correct everything. But I think I would do this again by myself to save myself $200. One thing I will admit is that I did damage the underside of my hair a little bit where I applied the lightener first. So it sat on there the longest, and I should probably just do it a little bit faster, or maybe not start on that part next time if I go later, which I probably will go later. But this happened even when I did that in the salon, like even when they did it professionally, these bottom hairs kind of did this kinky, puckered kind of thing, and they said that was kind of normal. So I believed them, and over time they did smooth out and they did kind of go back to normal. This looks a little worse than what I had in the salon, so we'll see if that happens. I might just do some heavy conditioning and masks and stuff like that. Overall, it's not bad. It's not, I didn't lose any hair or anything like that. So overall, I think for a DIY, never having done it, wasn't too bad. So I'll probably try it again. And I do want to reiterate that I am in no way a professional. I am not a cosmetologist. I have never done this before in my life. So this was my first time even applying any kind of lightener to my hair. So if you have any suggestions for me or tips to make it a little bit easier next time around, because I will probably do this again and hope that my hair doesn't fall out. So if you have any suggestions to make it easier the next time around, feel free to let me know, and thanks for watching.